What's up, everybody? It's your favorite I'm all out of train references favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the masterpiece Shouki, or Shouki? I don't know, shout out to Shouki. Shouki's reviews, good dude, but I don't know how to pronounce this thing. This is the Takara masterpiece train bot. It's all known to me from John P, good dude. Sent this to me before he had to go take care of some other stuff in his life, and I do greatly appreciate him doing so. I definitely understand and am grateful for him taking time out to do that. Don't want that to be lost on him or anyone else. That being said, we are gonna look at this guy, but in order to do so, we're gonna start with accessories. He comes with two sections of train tracks. They're sculpted well enough. It kind of has this like gravelly almost look, no paint applied to it, which is a bit of a bummer. And then we have the kind of rails that sit in there, the train tracks, I guess literally that sit in there, that are done nice enough with the metal. And I'll be honest, I can't get it on here properly. Like I can kind of get the back wheels aligned, but try as I might with these front wheels, I just can't get them to kind of fit in there properly. I was saying on Patreon, my dad used to have a train set, and like you could kind of like find the rails by sort of sliding it back and forth, like the kind of tracks would eventually lock in, and it feels like that's what should happen here, but it ultimately does not for me. I don't know, mine could be slightly misaligned. There's a number of things that could be wrong, but that's a bit of a bummer, honestly. He comes with two seats for the train mode. This piece here folds down. I'm not entirely sure why. But it does, and then it also collapses back in, and they're just blue plastic. To utilize those, you just sort of break away this section, that's probably a poor choice of words, and split this open, and then these pieces will sit in here. Where does it go? There's one, and there's like just two tiny pegs, and then it's just hard to see with the camera on the black plastic. There's the other, and then you can kind of close all this back up and reassemble. He comes with this chest piece, sculpted nicely. I'm not sure if it's painted or not. I'm guessing it is, but if it is, it's not a very dynamic coat of paint. They could have probably just left it on. Yeah, it is painted because it's a bit darker than this blue, but they could have left it unpainted because it didn't really do much, the paint that they added to it. That being said, it is sculpted beautifully, all these little details and stuff in here. It actually would have been nice to kind of see some of that pop, especially the stuff in there, like the little grates, and that would have been nice if they would have added some accent paint to that, I think. Even if it wasn't accurate, I think it would have looked cool. The chest shield can also be stored inside of there. Just fold this flap down and then these flaps over until it's nice and compact, and then use that male to this female, and tab that in, and then you can fold these back up and kind of put it all back together, and now you have it stored. Unfortunately, you can't have both stored. Kind of a nitpick, but also kind of obnoxious. What are you gonna do? You can also plug in your chest piece to the forearm by using a tab right here. And that works well enough. He's already kind of got enough stuff hanging off of him, so I doubt you'll want to use this, but you can. And of course it will connect to the body by using this tab to go inside of here at the top of the wheels, and then this female connecting to that male at the bottom. It's a little hard to see, but there it is. Straighten her up. He comes with a gun. What warrior doesn't have one? And it's sculpted well enough. I don't think this is painted at all. It does fold up and stuff. We'll talk about the uses of it here momentarily. But it's ultimately fine. He'll hold that just fine. And that can be stored on the bottom of the train. It does barely fit, but it barely fits. So good on them for making it work, but it is by the skin of their teeth. You also get a clear plastic piece adapter for a flight stand, but you had to have a flight stand from a different piece. I hate when they do stuff like this. I find it completely obnoxious. It's just not the way to do business. Just include it. Include everything you need. Don't make me borrow from a different piece that I've already bought, or in my case, haven't bought, to get it done. Just include what is necessary. But to utilize it, take this chest piece here, flip these panels up, spin this around, and then flip this whole section, which I will grab a spudger for, open, so that you can then take your pieces here and plug them in, and then you plug that into the flight stand that hopefully you already have. And here's the alt mode. This is how it comes packaged, and I think it looks pretty good. I think that the kind of whitish, creamish color and the blue paint look fantastic. They look very sharp. The silver paint on top looks very sharp. The overall sculpt works. Without the tracks, it still rolls without rails, you might say. My major kind of complaint with this is the transparent plastic over usage everywhere. And I don't think it helps. I think seeing all the inside of it actually hurts the suspension of disbelief of something that looks very realistic. I actually got some, as I'm looking at it, I got some paint overspray right there, which is less than stellar. Also, it's not 100% tight and compact, which on a normal day doesn't really bother me, but with Takara I kind of expect pretty close to perfection. Other than that, you know, there's your connection piece for more trains. There's your little door there on the back. A lot of sculpted detail in there as well. Underside is pretty clean. I think overall it's a pretty sharp train mode. My biggest issue really is the transparent plastic. You know, it's just a translucent plastic. It's just not my favorite thing in the world, and I think why I keep saying transparent is because I'm seeing through it, and that's what's really bothering me about it. I like all the sculpted detail up here as well, but more importantly, there he is next to Tiger Tracks. It's a long unit, so to speak. It's about twice the size of an MP car. So let's get him transformed. The first thing you want to do is kind of separate the two sections, the upper body from the lower body. This piece here, if it's anything like mine, will kind of be disconnected anyway. You can kind of use that as your guide. And then you want to open this piece up on both sides. And you can see like there's the hip joints. So now you kind of have it separated a bit from the upper and lower. Actually, you can get this up now, I think, a bit. Next, you want to disconnect the wheels. They're pegged in with 2 pegs into each section here, and that will allow you to open the legs up. On the leg without the wheels, open up this flap here, extend the leg up, and then rotate right above the knee, and then bend it down here on this double hinge and fold it in. And then you can bring this piece back around to kind of keep it on track, you might say, am I right? And then bring this piece around. This will plug back in to the bottom, and then this piece I think just folds down like that. Rock down this bottom piece, swing this section out, flip the toe up, and then this needs to come down and form the bottom of the foot. Little tight tolerance there, but you should be okay. And then rotate it so that it makes sense for the robot. This one is the same, except you have to accommodate for the wheels. So open up your flap here once again. This piece rotates out and around, and then it's actually on a slider bar that you can move to the outside. And then you want to do pretty much repeat the same things as the other one. Bring this up, and then rotate, and then collapse that down. Close your flap, and then this collapses down as well with zero elegance. They just added on to what you've already done. And then swing this around and tab it back in to the front of the shin. All right, and fold your little silver piece in. Okay, now foot, also identical. Break the connection, open up this, flip the toe out, spin the bottom of the foot down, and bring it around with the clowns. You guessed it, from out of town. And I guess flip that up. I feel like I want it to go down in this little spot here, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure where that goes, I'll be honest with you. Now we'll start on the upper body. So break that connection the same way to store the seats and chest shield and whatnot. Break the connection between the arms. Just get them out of the way. This whole, I'm just gonna show it to you this way. This whole backpack pulls out. You can flip that on this side of it. There is the robot head. We'll flip that up. And we can fold these pieces that are right here in towards the oh, you can't even see that, can you? Right in towards the chest. All right, for the arms, you want to disconnect the roof so that you can kind of separate all of these pieces. This door here, or this one side of the train, it needs to come on the opposite side of the arm, so it spins behind this piece here and then up and over and kind of sits on top of the shoulder. There's this flap here. That will bend 90 degrees backward so that you can use that to peg it into the chest of the robot. This, I think, just kind of sits out in the open. And this here, you can open up, flip the hand out, flip this, spin at the bicep, and they have these huge hands on this guy. And I think that's it. Let's go ahead and do that one more again. We'll separate the roof. We'll separate the forearm from the shoulder. We'll open the shoulder flap, spin it between the shoulder and the back so that it can come around and sit on top of the shoulder. We're gonna take this little panel and flip it 90 degrees in towards the bot so that it will make a connection with the chest. Separate this, open up your hands, close that up, spin at the bicep. There you go. Then to finish it off, flip down these hip skirts here. And then do just like we did to show the connection for the, what was that thing? The adapter. Pull it out, so to speak, rotate it, and then flip this back down. All right, and then we just have the backpack left. So rotate there at the backpack, and then you want to open up this here. And you want to pull this down. And then it's just a matter of manipulating these hinges just right. So this ate me up, so I'm cutting this in. Ugh. All right, so you gotta have this piece here that's connected to their wheels fall on the opposite side of the two flat black planks. Then you want to angle it in a way where this collapses down so that the planks are now facing towards the top of the robot. This piece that you folded over folds all the way over, and then this piece folds back. And the issue is the very first piece that you have to bend that's connected to these two black flanks, there's barely enough room to get the clearance. Luckily, it's just on kind of mushroom pegs, so if you go too far, it'll just pop off. But that's it. All right, bring this up and over, and then this thing reaches in and grabs onto the nose cone, and then hopefully you just close that up a little bit, and then that is it, ladies and gents. Ugh, ugly. I'll clean it up and take a look at it. All right, let's take a look at them. So, get in tight like a tiger. The head sculpt, I think, works well enough. It's painted nicely with the blue, black around the eyes, and then the silver face. This bit there is just the flat plastic, but the helmet is painted blue and looks good enough. The head is on a ball peg. You get up to there. You get not really anything down. You get side to side, and you get a little bit of a confused train by face. Ugh, this thing is ugly. All right, let's move on. Shoulders. You have 90 degrees here at the base of the shoulder. This is all flat plastic in here, from the shoulder down to the fist, not a lick of paint. Then you get the rotation around. You can get this up and out of the way. And you can get all the way up if you so desire. We have a bicep swivel. We have what looks like a double jointed elbow. I think it is, but it's really tight for the full range. So no issues there. Wrist swivel, and these huge hands open up to grasp whatever he wants. This used to be such strong hands. God bless, dude. Grab my strong hand, you know what I mean? All right, moving on. We have a waist swivel and an abdomen swivel. It's redundant, but you have it. The chest is actually decoed quite nicely with the blue and white along with the yellow accents and the Autobot symbol on top. No issues there. We'll back out a taste and look at these hip skirts, which are also painted nicely. You can also get them up and out of the way to expose universals. They are tensioned out to the side, poorly I might add for the full Van Damme, ratcheted with inconsistent ratchets forward and back till you run into all of the stuff that he comes sitting on his body. Fold that down, and thigh swivel. I just had an epiphany of sorts. You know, I always do that in the reviews, like, body. It's a mix, isn't it? I think half of me is trying to do, I will give you a new body and new troops to command, like that. And then I think the other half is, we were wondering what would fail first. Your mind or spirit, whatever it is, or your body. I think that's what it's all about there. A little Bane Unicron blend. The knee is a single bend that gets you past 90 degrees until it sort of forms into this pile of things. And you have thigh swivel, some nice sculpted lines there. You have the lower legs, which just look absurd. You get maybe a little bit of an ankle tilt. No, not really. I'm not giving him that. And you do get a little bit of a rocker. Not user-friendly either. I guess you do get an ankle tilt up, maybe. I don't know. It's not good, regardless. Oh, look, I forgot something. On here on the back, you can flip these out. It doesn't make it look any better, but you can do it. There's like two pieces there I forgot to flip out. Oh, and I forgot this too. Sorry, this piece comes up and over and plugs into the back of his neck. Sorry about that. That actually does make him look a little bit better. Nothing significantly better, and all my criticisms still remain, but I definitely forgot that. So, while this one I forgot also and is a bit of a joke, this one I forgot and actually does add something aesthetically to the front of him, but not enough to save any criticism I've had thus far. Because actually I thought that this area kind of looked the best anyway. Like, that looks pretty good. It's just all of that. That's not so much. This will, excuse me, swivel a bit and get out of the way. Backpack kind of is what it is. A lot of this is just unfinished, clunky, clumsy looking robot. This is worse than I thought it was going to be, in all honesty. Size comparison wise, there he is with some contemporaries in his field. He's a little bit taller than a XTB Stunticon, a little bit shorter than the Unique Toys Swindle, and significantly shorter than Fans Toys Drag Strip. So hopefully that gives you an idea. What I find most interesting is, regardless of size, aesthetically he just doesn't fit in. He's too clunky and clumsy for any of these representations. It doesn't look like it's part of the same world, line, or universe. Let's go to combine mode. Untab the backpack. Untab this stuff from his back. Bring it out. You want to rotate the backpack again. 180. Rotate the waist. 180. Untab. You can fold his head down. Untab the arms. And then you want to rotate the chest 180 at that kind of redundant joint, so that you have the pelvis and the chest facing the same direction, but the waist is facing the opposite direction. Then extend all of this again. For the nose cone, you want to bring that up, spin it around, collapse that bit there, and then this whole section if you grab onto these pieces, will slide down. You got to straighten this. This flips back around and tabs in to these two lower female ends there. You can grip the chest around it. That should give you a little bit of support. And then this flips up and over, and you have these two tabs that plug in to there. Just a little hard to see on the review side of things. And then these things flip down, the instructions anyway, say. Where's that? There. Open up the forearms, collapse the fist in, close the forearm back up. We can do that on both sides. Open up these, and basically you need to rotate at the shoulder so that when it comes back down, it's collapsed like this, and then tab it back in to the side. So one more again, hopefully I can make this a little bit clearer. It's pretty intuitive, honestly, but you want that up, and then this fold it up nice and neat, and you want to make sure that that stays tabbed in, and bring that around, at which point you can bring these pieces, these like armatures here, around, and then they will clip in to these gray pieces. And we'll do that on this side as well, and then I'm going to take a quick break and clean some of this up, because as you will see, it has a tendency to kind of come undone like Duran Duran. So 1 minute. And then this part is actually pretty simple. You just take the leg, bend it back, put these shoulder pieces down. Same on this side. And then the feet will interlock there. I might have to clean that up, obviously. And then this stuff here, this gun comes up, and this little piece flips out. Gun comes up, little piece flips out, and I'll clean it up and we'll take a look at it. Come on. All right, let's do final thoughts. Eat your heart out, Sam. Final thoughts wise, we'll start with the negatives. In train mode, I had a hard time getting him on the tracks. Ended up kind of being a metaphor for the whole figure, in my opinion. I wish there was a way to store the weapon on top so that he could be like in battle mode. I understand that they're probably doing that, or not doing that rather, to protect the dignity of the train in Japan and not have it come into a war machine or turn it into a war machine. But the truth is, it would have been nice if the option existed. The transformation from train to robot is surprisingly smooth and sturdy. Surprisingly, once again, especially due to the number of clear, translucent pieces of plastic that are utilized to make things clip into one another, which is a poor choice. So use extreme caution with yours. As for the robot, it's a complete disaster. This whole toy is robbing Peter to pay Paul in many ways, and none perhaps as so defined as the robot mode. The legs are unfinished, the arms are unfinished, the legs have big clunky L-shaped brackets around them to try to make an attempt to hide what's not finished. And as long as you have them posed like this, you'll be fine, but if you get to see behind what the wizard is hiding in this curtain, you're gonna see a whole bunch of nonsense. The same kind of goes for his giant, enormous backpack slash cape hanging haphazardly off of his rear components, and whatever these wings are supposed to be on his arms that just look like a complete disaster. In my opinion, a total and utter failure. Going from robot to body, well, I think the body is not looking promising, but it's hard to judge that with what we have here, so I'll just say there are some interesting transformation components. But like so far, it just doesn't seem promising. But who knows? There are some positives about it too, but I'll wait. Positives wise, the train does look fantastic. The transformation is surprisingly smooth and effortless from train to robot. I guess that's because they don't really do any sort of elegant job in hiding all of the bits, so I guess that's what adds to the easiness of the transformation. And that's really what this figure is. It lacks all elegance. Elegance that you usually expect with a Takara masterpiece. It has a very bare bones approach to articulation, but it's all there. And although it isn't fully painted, what is painted well, nice, sharp, and clean, and does add to the aesthetic of the figure. And then there are things that I like about the transformation from robot to body, where the armatures kind of wrap around and kind of hold in the shoulder components and all that. Like, that feels pretty tight and secure and an interesting way to do business. Of course, in order to do that, you have to have these extra flaps hanging off the robot mode. So once again, kind of a mixed bag, but at least it's there. Look, this is not good. It doesn't feel like a masterpiece in any real significant way. My recommendation currently is avoid at all costs unless you want a good looking and expensive train. And even then, I would fare to wager there are nicer model trains out there that you can buy. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.